What's up, everybody? It's John and John Sports Hunts and Collectibles coming at you with a brand new video. How's everyone doing out there today in the YouTube universe? Let's see here. What are we talking about today? Well, I'm actually making this video probably for the second or third time because so many things have changed over the last day and a half in regard to a video that I put out. Tops of the fail, tops post video short of Resealed 1951 Redback pack opening. So if you want to watch this video, go check it out. The video basically talks about how Topps reposted this short here of a supposed 1951 Topps pack being open. He opened a 74-year-old pack of cards. These cards have been hiding for 74 years. So I saw that short came up on my feed, and I was like, okay, what is this? And then I watched it. I was like, okay, that was clearly Resealed. And I made a video about it because I felt like Topps was kind of duping people, hoodwinking people, by promoting something that wasn't, in my opinion, researched to see if it was a legitimate situation that was happening there with this pack opening that actually happened about 11 months ago on this YouTuber's channel. And I felt like, Topps didn't do a very good job vetting this whole situation and just reposted something in order to get people to watch and, clicks and views and all that stuff. And they don't really need it, but I mean, they're trying to promote Topps in general. And so why not throw some vintage pack opening video up? But, not really looking deep, taking a deep dive into the pack opening. And now, they should really look at, the content creator and what he opens up and how none of these things are, I don't think most of these packs are authenticated. And I'm making this video again because I wasn't initially going to attack this individual, but he made a comment on the video that I posted, and then it got really aggressive. And I'm going to show you the comment here. I deleted everything. I ended up showing this guy the exit door. Because I don't think he liked the fact that I was calling out Topps here on a video that they reposted. Instead of just leaving it alone, I wasn't like critiquing him in any way, shape, or form. I was talking about the pack seeming like it was it had been resealed, and that the cards inside weren't necessarily correct on the production side. And so he wrote this book of a comment, and we'll get into that in a second. But let me just talk about this packaging here. And we're going deep in the weeds with this one, folks. So there's a lot to unpack here. So if this is boring to you, you can go click on another video. But if you're interested in knowing about this release a little bit more and hearing how this is kind of escalated, in a sense, within the hobby space, continue to watch. Okay, so I spent a few hours the other day contacting some LCSs in my area and talking to a few people that collect vintage product and have pretty good knowledge of this release. And I was told that inside these doubles packs, the cards are technically supposed to be attached. And they originally came out in this format here. This is a pouch. They sold these at candy stores. And it was kind of a disastrous release, this 1951 Topps release. The first Topps baseball release. Sorry about all the pop-ups that are going to come up here on this trading card database website, but no choice but to let that happen. Okay, so this was a disaster. They decided to come out with these doubles packs that had two cards in each pack, and they're supposed to be attached. And they're supposed to be either folded over with the faces out, on either side, or folded inwards with the red backs out on either side. That is like supposed to be what a legitimate pack is to look like when you open it up. They're extremely easy to reseal. And so, you see tons and tons of videos over the years on YouTube of people opening up these packs, and a lot of times they are definitely not legitimate. They definitely are resealed, you can tell. You get packs that have cards with like really bad creases in them. You get packs with all kinds of weird staining on them. It doesn't make any sense, okay? And the packs with staining I would have to say would probably have come from these kind of pouches, because there were caramel candies inside these, and my guess is they leaked out, and then somehow they ended up in these. Now we don't know how the production line worked on this release, as far as when they swapped it over to these packs. We don't know what kind of machines they used. We don't know if they did it by hand, but the cards are technically supposed to be attached, and that was one of my arguments in the video that I put out, that the packs seem resealed, and that the cards are supposed to be attached. And you can watch videos out there, and people make comments on those videos on YouTube of these packs being opened, about the cards being attached. There are a few YouTubers that actually comment on that. And so that was my argument within the argument. But this YouTuber here, and where is the comment? Here it is. I had to delete these, but it's Rob Opens Wax. And again, I wasn't originally making this video to lay out an attack on the guy, but he wrote this like book of a comment here, and he was talking about how he's basically an expert on this release, and I'm wrong, and he was basically just shifting the narrative away from what my original video was, that TOPPS shouldn't repost things like this. They're the largest trading card company in the whole wide world, and they should do a better job when they do their research and do their vetting on reposting videos like this. And I don't think he liked that, because it was taking away from his his moment with TOPPS, and he was trying to shift the narrative. And he wrote this whole book of a comment, and I replied to him, and he kept getting progressively aggressive in the comments, that I was wrong. And one of the comments, he said I was wrong like 4 times, I think, in the comment. I'm like, wow, and it was like a 2-sentence comment, and I'm thinking to myself, boy, this is really getting out of hand with this guy, and he's not looking at the big picture here. The intention wasn't to point fingers at the guy for this whole situation. It was to talk about how TOPPS basically screwed up, and they shouldn't be doing this kind of thing if they want to be, looked at as a legitimate source for information of their own historical product. Okay, so I was going to leave it alone. I made a video about this, and I was going to post it, but then some other things happened. And before I get into that, I asked the AI too as well, the wonderful Google AI. Are 1951 TOPPS baseball doubles attached in the pack? The answer is yes. 1951 TOPPS doubles cards were attached in packs. Typically 2 cards to a penny. These cards were sold in packs specifically marked doubles and represented the start of TOPPS entry into the baseball card market. The redbacks sold as a prepackaged set with a fold-out game board that also included these attached cards. So there's AI's answer to that, and that's done. So, it's this kind of thing where, like, his argument was, like, again, trying to shift the narrative away from TOPPS and their blunder to, I'm wrong and I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to this release. And I'm not an expert on this release by any stretch of the imagination, but I know enough to do research before I put a video out, so I don't sound like an idiot. Okay, so I created this original video and was just going to post it, but then this morning, this comes up on my feed. How? I don't know. I don't know Brandon's baseball cards. I don't think I've ever really interacted with him over these 7 to 8 years I've been on this platform. But he's like a pack purist, okay? And I would have to say that he knows his stuff when it comes to legitimate and basically fake products. And he went off on this, and I can understand why. He basically felt the same way I did in this kind of video rant that he put out, and he took a deep dive into attacking this Rob Opens Wax channel. But I have to point it out. I mean, I have to talk about this because he does mention something in here about how the individual, opens a lot of these vintage packs and doesn't seem to care about whether or not they're authenticated or authentic or not. And I can understand a content creator just wanting to open up things and to show people. But when you start to flip and then, end up doing what this guy did with me here, it just raises some eyebrows and makes you wonder how like sincere this individual is. And he even went so far. This Rob Opens Wax. I went and looked because I think I watched only a couple of his videos here on YouTube, but he really, like, he tries to defend himself here, but he's probably one of those, he's from the positivity posse. And again, I try to be as positive as I possibly can here on YouTube when it comes to this hobby, but I mean, when something's wrong, I usually call it the BS, and people don't like that. I live in a reality, and a lot of people that watch content on here don't. They live in a fantasy land, and they want to be nostalgic, and don't want to face the fact that something might not be legitimate. And the purists in this hobby, they do not like things like this going down. They do not like TOPPS promoting the element of a resealed pack being open as being a legitimate thing. They can't stand it, and I can understand why. And then, Brandon goes into talking about this content creator, excuse me, his numbers, and he makes some comments about that, and those numbers raise some eyebrows too, his channel numbers. And I'm not here to take a deep dive into that question, but they are kind of high for only being on the platform for a few years, when a lot of content creators like myself and other creators who were making a move upwards in numbers are kind of just stagnant now. So I wanted to just talk about this, make a follow-up video about this whole thing. This video that I made originally was focusing on TOPPS, and it still should be. There still should be an eyeball on TOPPS, and when they put out stupid reposts like this of illegitimate product, resealed product, and pawn it off as a real thing. But we should hold these kind of content creators accountable as well too. And they have to be able to take criticism. You're on a forum like this, you're on social media, and if you put out BS, you should be called on the carpet for it. And that's it. I've had people do the same thing to me, but I don't put out BS content like this, and I don't have that promoted. I don't have it promoted by TOPPS. So let's just leave it here and be done with this. But I wanted to do a follow up on this, since there were some new things that were added into the mix here, and it's unfortunate. This content creator in the comments, like I said, was getting super aggressive. But then said, if you'd like to chat, we can. Like, why would I want to chat with you when you're like, you're coming into the channel here, you're coming into the video comment section, and you're writing basically a tutorial on this product, and you're not right, okay, or you're not 100% right with it, and then you're slamming me and calling me, saying that I'm wrong about everything and shifting the narrative. Why would I want to have a chat with you? I would not want to have a chat with anybody like that, or have any kind of communication with someone like that. But I felt like I should put this out and show everybody this information and just leave it there. So that's all I've got for you guys today. Greatly appreciate you stopping by. Remember to like, subscribe, comment down below. Please share this video. And we will see you guys on the next one. Take care.